What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Legion video. So the season is over, and boy howdy was that one hell of a season. And in true Legion fashion, they're not going to do things by halves. And in my opinion, I think that the final episode of season 1 was definitely by far my favourite, just because, well, it had a lot of Jermaine Clement in it, and I'm certain that Jermaine Clement is my favourite character in all of this show. Most definitely. Just because I'm a huge Jermaine Clement fan. And I think that this season, now the middle half of this show did, I think, certainly get bogged down in craziness, a bit too avant-garde for its own good, and I think that they kind of reined it in. And the last 2 episodes, I think that certain parts just got too weird. I think it got to the point where it was just weird for weird's sake. And, well, the whole way it was shot, etc., the way the storytelling went, I kind of feel that they could have told the story a lot easier and still have the craziness trademark that the show actually has. But we've been left on a huge cliffhanger. Now, the whole show was about David and his come to realization that he's a mutant, and the realization that, well, he's not actually got problems with his mental health, but he's actually got something inside him, as we found out was Amal Farouk, the Shadow King, which possessed him possibly even from when he was in his mother's womb, after his father, Professor X, defeated him on the astral plane. So lots of things have happened this season, but there's a lot of things left over. So let's talk about that big mid-credit scene cliffhanger a bit later. But let's discuss the fact that, well, Oliver has had the Shadow King inside him. And I thought it was really cool where he literally just leaves the compound, gets in the car singing, and then just driving carefree. And we see Lenny sitting in the seat beside him. So it seems like the Shadow King has jumped ship to someone else who is almost as powerful, not quite as powerful as, well, our David could possibly be, to be honest. So that's going to be a big thing going forward, a big storyline, and we're going to see just where they're going. They're going somewhere hot, which is, of course, Amal Farouk was from Egypt, and that's where all this started. So, obviously, the biggest takeaway here with Legion is this Equinox. So, in the mid-credit scene, if you actually haven't seen it, and I highly recommend you go and check it out, because, well, there is some very interesting things here that has happened. So at the end, he's talking to Sid, and then, well, shit goes down, and we see the Division 3, someone in charge, they say send the Equinox, and then this orb goes and takes David. It appears in front of him, and then he is sucked inside of it. So that is very odd, very strange, to be honest. A very weird thing, in my opinion, to end the show on. Kind of makes all of the fight for naught, in my opinion. But what do I know at all? I just complain about stuff online. So what's very interesting here is, as well, is that this kind of has some rooting in the comics. So the show's creators actually took some very big ideas from the Legion comic XMen Legacy, and this is a 2012 comic which you can go and check out. So these orbs actually follow David around, causing him all kinds of bother. Now, what's interesting as well is that in the comic we have Abigail Brown of S.W.O.R.D. kidnap David, or try and take him and get him to actually take on something that has escaped from his mind. So there's a kind of mutual thing there. So S.W.O.R.D. is a very interesting thing, to say the least. So S.W.O.R.D., which is an acronym for Sentient World Observation and Response Department, well, they're actually the counterparts organisation of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they are headed up by Abigail Brand. So they really are the go-to for any kind of space or any kind of craziness like that. And they have a close relationship with the X-Men. They have actually had one undercover operative in the X-Mansion, and that was actually Lockheed, which is Shadowcat's pet dragon. And they are technically a subdivision of S.H.I.E.L.D., like I said, but as always, they follow their own remit, and they're actually featured quite prominently in the comics in relation to David as well, and he was taken to their orbital space station, the Peak. So it's interesting to see where this is going. I know the creators haven't actually said, they have said even, that they're not going to look to the comics for storylines. They're not going to specifically look, but I would say this is the next logical step, and this is what I think they might be going in their own way. It might not be explicitly like this, but it will be this way in some way, shape or form. So that's it for this video. If you're new, please do subscribe, drop a like if you enjoy the video, and comment below what you think. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.